trying to unmute his or her phone. Microphone. Am I still connected?
Okay lang, sir.
Alright. Alright. So, kasi sometimes I get to disconnect my laptop sa connection. Anyway, just to know that you are there and I'm not disconnected. Okay. Let me just check the things that should be. Alright. So, I think we're good to go now. Alright. So, kumusta? I think that for the second quarter, the requirements are just easy. It's not hard. However, I get to see that there are some only few are just passed. Some others are even just passing the first quarter ngayon. Alright, so among the 16 students who are in right now, I only just get to hear one voice. So I hope that you are there. You are still there. I hope that others will still be following. So merong mga nadi-disconnect. Alright, so I hope everything's fine, no? Especially right now that we are on a GCQ status. Anyway, without further much ado, let's try to just continue with whatever that is that we're going to discuss today. Let me share to you my screen. Alright, we're already at the lesson 9 of your module. No, I hope that you get to see the screen right now of what I'm sharing. I'm trying to, kasi last time it gets stuck sa isang kon. Right, let's try to see. So, ayun po, hindi siya nag-show. Alright, let me just unshare this one once again. Alright, Mika just came in. Alright, sharing to you my screen right now. Just give me feedback if you're seeing it already now. Trying to share the screen.
Yes, sir.
Alright, let me share
Yes,
to you it in a bigger screen. Ayaw na ma-show ng bigger screen eh. I'm trying to make it con. Alright, anyway. So ayaw na ng bigger screen even though I'm trying to. Do you see that? I'm scrolling the screens right now. Do you see it? Do you see it changes? Hindi ano.
No, sir. No, sir.
Tinitingnan ko rin kasi sa phone ko at the same time. Only shows it this way. Anyway, let me try to do it this way. Let's try to sort things first. Bakit? Why? Anyway, let me share to you another in another way. Stop. I'm going to share to you my whole screen na lang, entire screen. Alright, I hope that you're getting to see the screen right now, a full screen.
Yes, sir.
Alright. Alright, so hello once again, and I hope that we're having good morning this morning, and I hope that our mindset is always staple na lagi na every Tuesday we're always going to have something to discuss. Though the second quarter is really something na medyo easy lang kasi hindi naman ako masyadong naglagay ng mga activities. However, for us to be able to know more about what will be happening for the second quarter, no, let's have a recap of what you are reminders sa mga ang nangyari. So, we're ending right now. This will be our last lesson for the second quarter, no? And in this last lesson that we're having, it's already half of the quarters that we're having. And I hope that at some point, no, yung mga hindi pa nagpapas since the first quarter will be able to follow up things, because then again, no, as you get to hear from our coordinator na agrurutap da kita, no, you'll be overflowed with many activities if you're trying to just sit it down in one last minute and going to do all those activities. Some others are even trying to make it in advance, especially for ESP. I think some others in ESP has already passed their whole module answering everything while not following what is found in your course guide. So we're supposed to follow, no, the schedule there for us to be able to have at least a quality time of doing those activities, and not just by trying to give it, no, and pass it just for the sake of a requirement. Now for your first quarter, no, for those who haven't passed their kites, showing me photos, and even some others are trying to send me even videos of them trying to fly the kite, which is actually very good, no? And some others are giving me photos of their kites, and I'm trying to assess if by with my experience when I was young trying to make a kite, if that kite that you're doing can fly or will not fly, no? So tinitingnan ko rin sa itsura pa lang, ito lilipad ba ito o hindi. So I'm trying to gauge it by the way, no, it looks. However, be mindful that this is a performance task, no, yung kite making, which compose around 80 points sa first quarter nyo. So yun. For your self-assessments, ipasan nyo rin yun, your activities, and even for those who haven't taken yet their long quiz. Alright, so meron tayong long quiz. Now, for this second quarter that we'll be having, since matatapos na tayo with the lesson right now, for the second quarter, I'm scheduling another long quiz on Thursday. The same way that we have done it during the first quarter. I'll be doing that one through Google Docs. So, ganun din, no? So, around 40 points lang for those three lessons that we have. We have your typhoon, your earthquake, and this time your other members or minor members of the solar system. Alright, so for second quarter, don't forget your project, which is your infographics. Now, some of you are trying to make it a poster. Meron kasing isang nagpass na poster yung style niya. Though it was a way of trying to give us information. Be mindful that your infographics is actually hindi siya mukhang poster at the some point. I have shown a sample of what is found in your module, no? Pag infographics kasi, kailangan parang siksik siya siksik siya both ng letters, information, and even graphics, which will actually be the purpose of what you are trying to do. Now, so ano ba ilalagay nyo doon sa infographics? You're going to place there some ways for us to what to do, no, before, during, and after maybe, or some ways or information will give us about earthquakes, or it's about typhoon pala. Now, some of you are trying to communicate with me through messenger of trying to know how to yung mag-answer nung typhoon tracking, and even trying to put the points for the par. Anybody who is trying to have hard time about it, kasi I will be explaining it right now pag hindi nyo pa nagawa. Can I hear voices for those who have not yet done there and who doesn't know what to do about it? Musta? Kasi you'll be learning that one dapat sa AP, but your AP will be the last subject that you'll be having. So, you'll be learning that one in science, so that when you reach AP, alam nyo na yung gagawin nyo when trying to put coordinates there with the latitude and the longitude. Any problems with that one? Now is the time for you to speak up. Kasi others were really very honest, no? And trying to, sir, hindi ko alam yung gagawin ko dito. So, I'm trying to do my best to try to explain what to do, because I thought that you already have an idea of that one when you were in grade 7. Anybody would like to speak up and tell me, or nahihirapan about trying to point the Philippine area of responsibility and even do the typhoon tracking of Typhoon Sendong? Meron ba? It's really very quiet. Medyo, it's kinda awkward, no? The awkward silence. Anybody? Wala. So I'm going to accept that one as something that you know what to do, no, for your Philippine area of responsibility na activity and even tracking Typhoon Shandong, no. So meron yung mga coordinates doon na ang dami-dami doon sa page 93 as far as I can remember, and trying to point those plot those points para kasing nagagraph lang kayo doon, no. If you have your x and your y axis, no, you're going to know what is yung point sa x-axis and sa y-axis, then kung saan sila nag-meet, you put a dot there, and then later on, connect the dots with a line. Alright. I hope that you are still there. Now, for your fourth quarter, naabutan tayo ng GCQ, and GCQ will be ending on February 28. No? So, that would be the last day of the month. Now, mag-e-end tayo for our fourth quarter, maybe more or less, nasa second week ng March. Now, some others are trying to PM me or send me a message about trying to, sir, wala kaming pine tree, or wala kaming ganito, ganun. So, for those who are having hard time of trying to find a seedling for a pine tree, kasi I think that right now siguro kung makahanap kayo ng mga maliliit na seedling kasi dyan, no? Before, if you're living near areas where pine trees are there are ones na nabubuhay na mga maliliit lang. You can later on take care of it first, then later on pag dumating na yung fourth quarter, you can start planting it or transplanting it to other areas. So for those who are having hard time in trying to find a pine tree, kasi preferably dapat kasi pine tree, kasi we're trying to at least revive, no, yung mga pine trees dito sa area natin. Some others are trying to suggest lemon tree, other trees, but I can accept that one as long as kung ano man talaga yung talagang available dyan sa inyo. So, just give me a heads up, no? Dapat sa kanyan. Just communicate with me for me to be able to know. Now, I'm telling you this one as early as now because again, no, sa fourth quarter, mabilis lang yung panahon. By next week, third quarter na tayo. After that 2 weeks, no, fourth quarter na tayo. So, just give you a heads up for this one. Do you understand me? Are you still there? Diyan pa rin ba kayo?
Yes, sir.
Alright. So,
Yes, sir.
I'm just giving you the as early as now about your kasi as an advocate for the environment, as a science teacher, I'm trying to at least help the environment, especially Mother Earth, for trying to revive, no, what is supposed to be revived, no, in this world that we're living in. Alright, so that would be for the third reminder. Fourth reminder would be submission of activities. Some others are trying to send me activities through my main account. Please do not send it there because then again, I have many people who are trying to communicate with me, not only you, my students, but even some friends and some even former students are asking for my help, no, in their science lessons. That's the reason why if you're going to pass it there, that will be overlapped with other messages. So therefore, hindi ko mababasa yan. I'll get to miss that one out. Na meron pala kayong pinasa pero hindi ko nabasa kasi doon nyo sinend sa main account. That's the reason why I created another account for it to be able to just be purely for educational purposes. So doon nyo po isesend. Now just to give you a reminder, because there was this one who sent me his activity for the first quarter pa lang. Please, whenever you try to take a photo of your activities, please do it in a way na hindi siya baliktad, kasi I'm trying to check your activities in my laptop. Pag baliktad yung sinend yung picture, baliktad yung pagka-picture nyo ng mga activities, either it would be flash to the left or to the right or upside down, hindi ko mababaliktad yung laptop ko just for me to be able to see that and read whatever that is written there. So, please, no, pag send nyo ng maayos yung photo na pagbukas ko ng laptop ko, mababasa ko siya. Alright? So, preferably dapat landscape, no? Wag sana portrait para makikita ko mas wider siya. Mas maganda pag landscape, tapos portion by portion na lang para mas easier na i-check. Alright? So, don't forget, yung mga iba kasi nagsisend without any activity names. So, I'm trying to just assume anong activity ito. But anyway, please do not send it on my main account. Just send it through my messenger account. Now, just to give you also heads up, kasi syempre, ESP yung mga kasama nyo. Whenever you try to communicate with your teachers, not only me, no, please communicate in a way na medyo formal kasi some others are trying to just communicate in a way na parang barkada nyo or kaedad nyo lang yung mga teachers nyo, no? So, ano bang gagawin? Try to first greet, no? Kung gabi man yan, good evening or morning sa umaga or afternoon, good afternoon sa hapon, no? Just start it with a greeting. Then after greeting, you state your purpose. Ano ba yung purpose mo? Magtatanong ka ba? Ganito, ganyan. After stating your purpose, magpasalamat ka. Sir, salamat. Ma'am, salamat sa ganito, ganyan. No? Hindi yung parang, yes sir, sige sir, ganong mga bagay, no? So, it's just so simple, pero I'd like you to be trained as early as your age, no? To be able to at least be formal with your communication, especially trying to communicate with your higher ups, ng mga mas nakakatanda sa inyo. Alright, so that would be a recap for everything. I'd like to ask first, no, kung meron kayong mga questions before I get to proceed with the lesson right away. It's already 10:17. Anybody? May mga tanong?
None, sir.
Alright, so let's proceed with the lesson proper. Right, we have your lesson 9, which is the minor members of your solar system. If you have your modules with you, I'd like you to open and have them beside you, no? In your module, it's named as the other members of the solar system. Now, I believe that when you were in grade 7, you already have known about your solar system, no? We have your mga the theories behind it, the heliocentric, the geocentric, but this time for your grade 8, we'll be talking about the other members who are usually hindi sila pinag-uusapan. Kasi usually pag solar system, pinag-uusapan yung mga planets, no? We have your Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars, and those different stuff. But trying to know also the other members of the solar system is something really very interesting. So ano bang pag-uusapan natin dyan? Pag-uusapan natin dyan yung sinasabi nilang near-Earth objects, or simply we call your NEO. Kasi sila, though hindi lahat near, no? Some others come from far areas, but we call them near-Earth objects kasi dumadaan sila malapit sa Earth. And at some point, we get to visibly see them. So ano bang inclusion ng near-Earth objects or the NEO? We call this includes your asteroids, your comets, and your meteors. Now, is it the first time? I know that's not your first time you hear this one. All right? So, asteroids, comets, and meteors. Anybody has an idea of how do they differ from each other? All right. Kasi tatanong ko, ano ba tong first picture? What do you see in this first picture? Is it an asteroid, a comet, or a meteor? Just give me your guess. The first picture they have
Asteroid.
Alright, asteroid. Some other answers? Can I hear other answers for this one found in the far left? This one, if you get to see my cursor. Ano to? Any other guess? Somebody answered asteroid. Other guesses? Wala na ba? Alright. Asteroid is the correct answer. Tama ito. Itong nasa far left is an asteroid. Alright? Asteroid ito. Ang asteroid, madali lang nakilalanin kasi ito yung mga bato lang na naka-float sa solar system. Yung mga bato. But, let's go to the photo in the middle. Itong nasa middle. Anybody would like to guess what this is? Nasa gitna. Is it
Sir, comet.
comet, a meteor, at asteroid? Alright, somebody answered comet, somebody answered meteor. So, ito, ano talaga? Can I hear other voices? Kasi parang narinig ko dalawa lang yung nag-iusa. Alright, anybody?
Sir, comet.
Alright, somebody answered comet. Others? Nasa gitna. Alright, so ano ba talaga yung tamang answer dito? Ano ba ito? So, if the far left is your asteroid, the one in the middle is your comets, meteors, ano ba? Alright,
Sir, comet.
Comet. Alright, the correct answer is comet. No? This is a comet. And lastly, since alam na natin na comet ito, obviously this is what you call your meteor. Alright, yung nandito. So let's try to differentiate these three different other members of the solar system. Kasi then again, no, sabi ko nga, ito yung mga bagay na hindi usually pinag-uusapan sa solar system. So let's get to know first, ano ba? So, ano ba, bakit ba natin pinag-aaralan ito? Have you ever seen this meme before?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Alright,
Yes,
so
sir.
Yes, sir.
bakit natin pinag-aaralan to? Because this is something interesting, no? If you just get to allow yourself to be open and try to learn about this stuff, because then again, hindi nga ito pinag-usapan masyado. Alright, let's start with this one. So, another picture of what you get to see, no? This is an asteroid. We have your meteoroid here, and we have your comet there. So, paano ba sila magkakaiba from each other? Alright, let's get to know first your asteroid. Alright? Your asteroid are actually just mga simple lang natin na sasabihin ito. Ito lang yung mga rocks na naka-float dyan sa solar system natin. Some are irregularly shaped. However, some are medyo maganda yung shape niya. Alright? If you get to see there a photo of your asteroids, these are the 4 known largest asteroid that we have. Ceres is the biggest. No, Vesta is the second that follows your Ceres, Pallas, and we have your Hygiea. All right. Now, some other scientists will call this one your microplanets. All right. So, kasi, no, just to give you a heads up, no, before, when a scientist was able to discover Ceres, nakikita niyo Ceres dito? Do you see Ceres there? Right, anybody?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
How do you describe the shape of Ceres?
Circle.
Circle, 'di ba? Or sphere, no? Talagang medyo halos perfect circle siya. But then again, if you're going to look at the definition of your asteroid, sabi dito, irregularly shaped fragments of rock. Now, when Ceres was first discovered, no? They thought Ceres was a planet. Because of the shape of Ceres, which is almost a perfect circle. But then again, no, hindi siya pwede ma-considered as a planet is because then again, hindi siya pumasok sa mga ibang requirements para ma-consider siya as planet. So, nagkataon lang talaga that there was this asteroid known as Ceres who is actually a very perfectly shaped circle na dati napag-alaman na akala nila planeta ito. Pero hindi ito planeta, this is just a regular asteroid, no, na merong perfectly circled shape. That's the reason why at some point ang tawag dito microplanets. Alright? Nakita natin si Vesta medyo oblongish. Ito naman si Pallas and si Hygiea medyo may hindi masyadong perfect yung circle. Alright? Now, before I get to proceed with the next slide, no, saan ba natin nakikita ang mga asteroids? Can you give it heads up? Saan kaya natin makikita yung mga asteroids na yan? Sabi ko nga, no, just put it in your mind that asteroids are just floating rocks there in your solar system. Saan kaya natin nakikita yung mga asteroid na yan?
Sir, outer space.
Outer space. Pero saan banda sa outer space? As we get to see, this is still a part of our solar system. Anybody who has an idea of the exact location of these asteroids?
Sir, Milky Way.
Milky Way is actually not asteroid. They're actually made up of different na mga stars, no? Na nasa malayong area, and then pag nagsasama-sama yan sila, Milky Way ang tawag natin dyan. Pero they are actually mga planets, or hindi naman planets, pero para silang stars na nagkasama-sama and they shine bright. They look like really very good pag nakakita ka. If you ever have seen a Milky Way before, no, it's really very fun. I have a photo of me shooting a Milky Way before, pero hindi ko na include dito. But then again, nakakita na ako ng Milky Way, but they are not microplanets. They are composed of many stars. So, any idea of where can we find these asteroids? Saan kaya natin sila nakikita? Let me see, baka merong naglagay sa chat box. Saan kaya natin nakikita ito? If you have your modules with you, makikita nyo yung exact location ni asteroid. Anybody?
Sir, asteroid belt.
Yes, the asteroid belt. Yes, alright. Since you mentioned about the asteroid belt, saan kaya specifically nakikita dyan? But before going to answer that one, let's get to proceed with the next lesson. Next slide. They can be found between saan? Anong nakasulat dito? Saan natin nakikita
Mars
si
and
asteroid?
Jupiter.
Mars and Jupiter.
Alright, you get to see that one, no? Yung mga asteroids natin, meron tayong tinatawag na asteroid belt, no? if you get to see a picture here, bago ka pumunta sa Jupiter, napapalibutan muna tayo ng sinasabi nating asteroid belt. Now, in that asteroid belt, no, ang daming mga rocks dyan which are floating, which are called your asteroids. Now, saan natin sila makikita? In between Mars and Jupiter. As a whole, tawag natin dito sa area na ito ay yung main asteroid belt. Alright, so part ito ng solar system natin. You get to see, no, si Ceres andito sa baba. Kaya, nung time na na-discover si Ceres, akala nila planeta ito, pero asteroid lang pala ito na nasa asteroid belt na perfectly shaped circle. Alright, so they can be found in between the orbit of Mars and Jupiter. But just be mindful, itong mga rocks na ito follow an orbit. Do you still remember what an orbit is? Grade 6, grade 7, I think.
Yes, sir.
Alright, so ano ba yung orbit? Ano bang pwede nating other words for an orbit? Ano ba tayong pwedeng ilagay in your own words, no? Paano natin i-describe si orbit? Anybody?
Full circle.
It's a circle, or simply when you talk about your orbit, no? This is the Yes. Hindi ko narinig 'yon. Yung last person who spoke. Anong
Halo.
Halo, alright? It's a halo at some point. Pero when you talk about your orbit, this is actually the pathway. 'Di ba si Earth, may orbit siya na nagre-revolve around sa sun. Si Mars, meron din siyang orbit or pathway niya that revolves around the sun also. At the same time, your asteroids also has an orbit. If you get to see, no, if you're going to look at this one in a bigger picture, naka-circle din si asteroid belt dyan around the sun. So, meron silang orbit. Right? Meron silang sinusunod. If you get to see here, no, bakit kaya hindi nagkakalat-kalat itong mga asteroids dyan? Because then again, meron po tayong orbit, meron pong sinusunod na orbit si asteroid. Right? So I think this will be the last part of your asteroid, no? Any questions more about your asteroid? Kasi later on, try natin na how, at the end of this lesson, at least ma-distinguish nyo na or differentiate nyo ano ba si asteroid, ano ba si comet, ano ba si meteor. Questions before I get to proceed? Anybody?
Sir.
Sure? Alright, sige, let's proceed. So, your asteroids can be classified, no, into different compositions. If you have your modules with you, I got this one from your module. Meron tayong mga classifications of your asteroid. I think that the one in this slide is not found in your module. Pero meron tayong tatlong types, no, based on its composition, meaning kung ano yung laman ng mga asteroid na ito. Meron tayong C-type, meron tayong S-type, and we have your M-type. When you talk about your C-type, just think of it as carbonaceous. From the word carbon, usually carbon po ang laman ng asteroid na ito. So a very good example of your C-type or your carbonaceous type of your asteroid would be your Mathilde, no? Or Mathilde. C-type siya na type of asteroid. You have your 253 Mathilde. Right? C-type, carbonaceous type siya na asteroid. We have your S-type also, no? Silicaceous ang just to give you an idea kasi silicaceous, usually it's made up of silicates or silicon. Now, a very good example of your S-type would be your Eros, no? 433 Eros is an S-type asteroid. So, silicon, silicates ang usually ang composition ng batong ito or asteroid na ito. And lastly, we have your Lutetia, 21 Lutetia, which is your M-type. Pag M, metallic. Now, usually, it's made up of nickel and iron. Right? So, ito, M-type siya, si Lutetia. 21 Lutetia is an M-type, no? Metallic type, M-type. So, we have your C-type, carbonaceous, S-type, silicaceous, M-type, metallic. Alright? I hope that you get to be able to distinguish the different types of your asteroid based on its composition. Let's get to know more about your asteroids based on your location. So, meron tayong tinatawag na mga different na mga asteroids based on the location naman, no? Hindi based on the composition. How to differ that one from the previous one? Composition ito, location naman ito. So, meron tayong sinasabi na nakikita natin sa main asteroid belt, no? The one between Mars and Jupiter. We have your near-Earth asteroids. Ito yung mga minsan naliligaw na mga asteroid. And lastly, we have your Trojan Swan. Ito yung mga nanggagaling malapit sa Jupiter area. No? Ito yung mga ligaw naman ng mga asteroids malapit sa Jupiter, Mars areas ng mga asteroid. Alright, so we have 3 different types in terms of their location. Alright, so what's so interesting with this one? Ano bang interesting with this one? You see my slide now? You still see whatever that is I'm seeing here? Anybody? Nakikita nyo ba? Or am I stuck with a slide? What do you see now? Hello,
Sir, yung because.
Alright, so because. So, asteroids are interesting because, ano kaya? Ano kaya? Alright. Napansin nyo ba na si asteroid ay nasa gitna ni Mars and Jupiter? Just to give you a fun fact about your asteroid, the asteroids found in the main asteroid belt, the one in between Mars and Jupiter, is supposed to be a planet. Scientists speculate na yung mga batong yan, yung mga batong yan na nasa gitna ni Mars and Jupiter ay dapat mabuo yan na isang circle na isang planeta sana. Pero anong nangyari? They stayed, no? As different fragments of rock there is because sino ang may kasalanan bakit hindi nabuo as a planet yung mga asteroids dyan sa main asteroid belt? Sino kaya may kasalanan dyan?
Jupiter.
Alright, no? It's Jupiter. Kasi si Jupiter, the largest planet that we have in your solar system, no? Since it's the largest planet, expect that the gravity of Jupiter will also be very strong. When that time na gusto sanang mabuo yung mga asteroid dyan sa asteroid belt, they're supposed to form as a circle planet dapat sana. Jupiter was there to destroy that one and pull them apart once again because of its very strong gravity. To the point na imbes na buo as a planet, they remained as a belt. Naging belt na lang, kaya meron tayong mga asteroid dyan sa asteroid belt. Again, sino may kasalanan? Itong si Jupiter. No? So, it failed to form and remained as a fragmented rocks or as a belt there in between Mars and Jupiter. Right. So, these are speculations coming from scientists na dapat yung mga batong yan dapat naging planet. Pero hindi siya nabuo as a planet because of Jupiter. Alright, questions about asteroid before we're going to go to the next one. Anybody? Time is 10:34. Questions? Hello? Are you still there? Okay lang? You get the point of your asteroid this time? Alright, so I have every different types of your other members of your solar system with fun facts. Alright? Let's go now proceed to the other one. Oh, ito naman. What do you see in your screen right now? For me just to check if we're seeing it as well.
Your comet.
Alright, we have your comet.
Sir.
If you can still remember that your asteroids are fragmented rocks that are irregularly shaped, comets are actually made up of ice. Alright? Icy body sila. Ice. So, that's one thing that you get to know the difference between your asteroids and your comet is because your asteroid is made up of rocks, fragmented rocks, your comet is made up of ice. An icy body that releases gas or dust. For scientists, they call this one as your dirty snowball. Mukha naman kasi yung snowball, no? Alright. So, let's get to know more about your comet. We have your different classifications of your comet. I don't know if you get to see this one in your in your module, but if there are things that are not found there, you can scribble at the sides of your module because then again, yung module nyo sa inyo naman yan, so you can write anything that you like to write there. But we have your two types of your comet. We have your short period and you have your long period. So let's try to differentiate them, no, as easy as we can do. Yung mga comets natin na yan, those comets usually visit the Earth and be visible at some points of the year, no? Yung mga comets na yan, may mga schedule silang dumaan sa Earth na at some point nakikita natin silang dumadaan. Now, we have your two types of your comets, no? You have your short period. Pag short period kasi, alright, yung short period, those are the ones that usually visit the Earth less than 200 years to complete a single orbit. Alright, so parang planeta din, no? There are times that your comet passes by the Earth and we get to see them. But the short period ones are 200 years and less na dumadaan. Tapos, let me just tingnan natin kung tama ba yung kon ko. They come from where? Can you see the ones in your screen? Asan galing yung short period comet? Can you pronounce the term there? Anybody? Ano yung nakikita nyo dyan? Hello? Can you read where the short period comets come from?
Sir, they came from Kuiper Belt.
All right. So you pronounce it as Kuiper. All right? Very good. However, we pronounce that one as Kuiper. Kuiper po yung pagka-pronounce niyan. So they come from the Kuiper Belt. Short period comets come from the Kuiper Belt. Now, for us to be able to differentiate that one from your long period comets, no? Yung long period comets naman, meaning they usually pass by the Earth and be visible more than 200 years. Or sabi dito, it takes hundreds of thousands of years just to take a single orbit around the Sun. Saan sila galing? Saan naman galing si long period comet? Anybody?
Oort cloud.
Alright, we have your Oort cloud. Oort cloud. So, ngayon, magtataka kayo, asan ba si Kuiper Belt? Asan ba si Oort cloud nakikita? Right? I don't know if I have placed that one in your module, but you get to see here that where is your Kuiper Belt and your Oort cloud found. No? When you try to see your Kuiper Belt, wrong spelling itong nasa picture, but just think of it as your Kuiper Belt. Your Kuiper Belt is usually beyond your Neptune, near your Pluto. Meron tayong isang belt din doon na tinatawag natin na Kuiper Belt. Now, if you get to see, if you get to be far, far, far away from the Sun, what would be the temperature of those planets that are really very far from the Sun? What can you hypothesize? Kumusta kaya yung temperature doon pag malayo ka na masyado sa Sun? Anybody? Hello? Ano yung... Am I connected? Disconnected? Baka disconnected ako. Am I still connected? Hello? Ay, na-DC ata ako. Hello? Hello? Na-DC ba ako?
Sir.
Alright. Akala ko na-DC ako. Alright, so... What would you say about the temperature of those mga things, no, or other members of the solar system that are really far from the Sun? Ano kayang temperature doon?
Very cold.
All right, very good, no? Expect that if you are living away from the Sun, it's really very cold there. As we get to mention earlier that comets are made up of icy bodies. So dito, sa Kuiper Belt, makikita natin na dito that these are actually mga floating ice that are found there, beyond Neptune, near Pluto. Ang tawag natin dyan, Kuiper Belt. So, short period comets come from that area. Kasi mas malapit sila sa Earth, and they travel mga less than 200 years just to pass by, and make a round, for yung buong ikot ng isang comet dyan sa Sun, just to orbit one, they take around mga less than 200, so tawag natin dyan short period comet. However, you get to see that your Oort cloud is really very far from the solar system, to the point that yung pag-circle nila baliktad, pataas yung circling nila. This is your Oort cloud. It says here you have your around 5,000 to 100,000 astronomical units. Malayong malayo ito. Alright? Now, you have your Oort cloud there. These are actually also another set of icy bodies that are floating there. This is where your long period comets come from. Now, makikita natin, madi-differentiate natin yung mga comets natin is because of the distance of where they come from. Siyempre, pag mas malayo, long period comet. Pag shorter or mas malapit na nanggaling sa Kuiper belt, those are mga short period comets that we have. Alright? Questions? Questions? People? Anybody?
None, sir.
Alright. Now, before I get to proceed with my next slide, do you know of any comets that are really very popular that you have read or maybe encountered before? Anybody? May mga kilala ba kayong mga pangalan ng mga comet? Anybody? Mga kilalang mga pangalan ng comet? Do you know of any popular names of comets that you have read or maybe encountered before in social media, in the internet, or whatever, wherever? Hello? Oh,
None, sir.
wala kayong kilalang comet?
None, sir.
None so far. Alright, sige, let's try to know a comet, no? So, let's try to know an example of a short period comet at isang long period comet naman. But there are still many other comets that we have, no? Ito kasi mga comet usually are being discovered by names of people, no? Mga scientists na nakakita nito, and they usually nilalagay nila yung pangalan dyan sa comet nila. So whenever you get to see a name of a comet, that's usually the name of the person who was able to discover that comet. Alright? So one example of your short period comet would be your Halley's Comet. Have you ever heard of Comet Halley or Halley's Comet before? Anybody? Or first time yung narinig ngayon si Halley's Comet? Because this is the most popular comet that even when I was young before in high school and even elementary, narinig ko ng pangalan nito. Are you familiar with Halley?
First time, sir.
First time sa Halley? No?
No, sir.
Alright. Halley is actually coming from the person who was able to discover this one by the name of Edmund Halley. Alright? So si Edmund Halley ang taong nakakita ng Halley's Comet and named it, no? Nilagyan niya yung apelido niya dyan, calling this one now yung Halley's Comet. Now, if you get to see, ang ganda tingnan ng Halley's Comet, na? Have your Halley here. However, si Halley, nakikita lang natin every 75 years. Ano to? So therefore, no, pag less than 200 na nakikita natin siya, we call that one your short period comet. Now, very good example of your short period will be Halley. Every 75 years lang po natin siya nakikita. Kailan siya last nakita? 1986. I wasn't even born by this year. No? So, last siya nakita ng 1986. So, kailan siya ulit na makikita? Projected, makikita natin siya by 2061. Hindi ko alam kung aabutin pa ako dito na year na ito, but more or less maaabutan nyo ito. No? You have your 2061. Makikita nyo ulit ang pagdaan ni Halley's Comet. Alright, questions? Anybody? Hello, it's really very quiet. Hello?
None, sir.
Sure? Alright, let's now proceed to your other example of your long period comet. Now, an example of your long period comet would be Hale-Bopp. Comet Hale-Bopp. If you get to see, no, iba-iba yung mga itsura nila. Alright? This is Comet Hale-Bopp. Can you see it now? Nakikita nyo sa screen nyo?
Yes, sir.
Alright? Comet Hale-Bopp came
Yes,
from
sir.
two people, no, na nakapag-discover nito. It's Hale and it's Bopp. No? So, pinag-combine nila yung pangalan nila. Comet Hale-Bopp ang tawag natin. This was last appeared in 1997. Were you born this year? Hindi pa, no? 1997? Kasi I think you're 2000 plus eh.
No, sir.
Alright, so 1997 last na nakita si Comet Hale-Bopp. But then again, this will not return for at least 2,500 years. Hindi natin alam kung buhay pa tayo after 2,500 years, pero hindi ito babalik, no? In the next 2,500 years. Alright, so Just to give you a review, saan galing yung mga long period comets? What area? Saan galing yung long period comets?
The Earth.
Alright? No? It's found in the Oort cloud. No? Since Oort cloud is really very far from the solar system, no? So it takes around ilang mga thousands of years for them to be able to be seen again. Alright? So where do short period comets come from? At this point. Saan din galing yung mga short period comets natin? Anybody?
The Kuiper Belt.
Alright, we have your Kuiper belt for that one. Thank you very much for answering. Alright, we have another picture of your long period comet. This is again your comet Hale-Bopp. Alright, so do you see different colors of the tail? Nakakita kayo ng different colors of the tail? What do you see? Alright, balikan ko to. Yung mga color na nakikita nyo dyan sa screen nyo. You see a difference of the colors of the tail of the comet? Hello? Alright, let's go back to Halley. Do you see a different color of the tail?
Yes, sir.
Anong
Yes,
mga
sir.
colors na nakikita nyo sa tail niya?
Blue.
You have your blue and your white, tama? May blue dito sa baba, may white sa taas, correct?
Yes, sir.
Can you see it one? And also even for Hale-Bopp, can you see the difference of the colors of the tail?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, there, and
Yes, sir.
this is really very small, pero if you're going to zoom it this one in, you have your blue here at the bottom and white there. Now, let's get to know the different parts of your comet. Si comet kasi may mga parts. Alright? So let's get to know the parts of the comet. No, meron tayong the nucleus. Your nucleus is actually this one. Itong ulo na ito. No. The nucleus is found is the one in the middle. Ito yung icy body na nasa gitna dyan, which is actually your nucleus. No? Tapos itong area na ito, tawag natin dito coma. As a whole, if you're going to combine coma and your nucleus, we call that one your head. Siyempre, ito yung ulo. Pag merong head, meron din tayong tail. You still remember, as I've mentioned, no, meron tayong different colors of the tail. The white part of your comet is actually what you call your dust tail. Dust, kasi usually itong nangyayari, lumalabas dito mga dust. Just imagine, this is an ice, tapos nag-move in a very fast, movement, tapos, pag malapit sa sun, what happens to ice? Pag lumalapit siya sa sun, ano kaya nangyayari sa ice pag naiinitan?
It will melt.
It will melt, no? At some point, because this will melt, no? This ice will melt, at the same time this is traveling, it will, no? Lumalabas yung mga dust niya dyan sa dulo niya, and at some point, no, those dust are actually melted ice. We call that one your dust tail. The white part of the tail is actually your dust tail. However, sabi ko nga, may ibang kulay na nasa baba ng tail na ito, which is actually also what you call your ion tail. Ion. Or some other books will call this one your plasma tail, because this is made up of plasma. Now, a very good example of your plasma is your flame, apoy. So, dalawa po yung tail na lumalabas sa comet na yan. We have your dust tail, which is the white part, and the bluish, yellowish part is your ion tail. Kaya sabi ko, tinatanong ko kung nakikita nyo yung different colors. No? We have your blue here and your white here. For Comet Halley, we have your blue here at the bottom and white at the top part, which is your dust tail and your ion tail. So, those are just some few of those things that you get to know about the parts of a comet. Alright, questions? Questions?
Answer.
Alright, let's get to know again Chris Aquino. What's so interesting with comets? Ano kaya? Alright, since we know, no, that comets are made up of ice. Alright, let's get to know a fun fact. It was known, no, by the scientists before that when the Earth started, no, with their theory, sabi nila kasi nanggaling ito sa Big Bang Theory, na nabuo si Earth, ganito, ganon, no? They believe that comets actually they crash down to the Earth. And since comets are made up of ice, then they crash down to the Earth, those ice melted, scientists believe that it was because of comet that Earth has water. Would you agree? Would you agree with the speculations of the scientists na it was because of the comets that crashed down to the Earth that brought water to Earth? Posible ba?
No, sir.
No? Why not? Bakit hindi? Do you have any other theory?
Sir, wala namang tubig dun sa meteor.
Alright. We're not yet talking about your meteor. We're talking about your comets. Wala pa tayo sa meteor. Alright?
Sir, I mean comet.
Alright, sa comet. Wala bang tubig sa comet? But as I've mentioned, no, comet is made up of ice. So what do you expect where there is ice? Anong made up ang ice ba? What is ice made up of?
Water.
Water, di ba? So they believe that, no, nung nag-crash daw yung mga comets before when the Earth was still young, no, that comets were the ones who brought water to the Earth. Just imagine Pacific Ocean, Atlantic Ocean, the Indian Ocean, those are water. Those oceans are water. Just imagine how many comets actually crashed down to the Earth when it was still young that brought water here on our area. So, with these speculations, pwedeng totoo, pwedeng hindi. But does it make sense? Does it make sense na yung comet may have brought water to Earth? In your own opinion, does it make sense?
Yes,
No,
sir.
it makes sense, but it's not true.
All right. In science, no, that's the reason why I'm open to opinions. Some of you will still agree. Well, some of you will not agree because then again we have many theories no, of how the Earth actually started. So others would believe that it started with a creation theory, no. A supreme being created the Earth, no. He created the water, the heavens and the earth, the soil, the land, and everything that is found there. However, for scientists, they believe that it started with a Big Bang theory, no? It started with a singularity, isang maliit na mga molecules, tapos ang dami because of gravity, no? Nagkumpul-kumpul sila at nabuo yung Earth. But then again, no, these are just speculations. Hypothesis lang ito because nobody was able to be living during the earlier times when the Earth actually was formed. Alright? So wala namang tao doon that time na nakaalam kung ano talaga yung nagdala ng tubig dito. But these are just some fun facts, no? Nasa inyo na yan kung maniniwala kayo or hindi. Right? Let's proceed to the next one. Last. Alright. We have your meteors. So we still have 7 more minutes, no? We have your boulders or rocks in the space. Alright? Itong mga meteoroids, actually, bato din ito. Mga bato. But how they differ from your asteroid is actually because your asteroid follows an orbit. Tapos, nakikita natin sila at certain regions there. But your meteoroids are actually, those are floating rocks kasi meron pa ring mga naliligaw na rocks na mga maliliit dyan that are actually found in the outer space. They do not follow an orbit and they just stay there floating around and we call that one your meteoroids. Alright? Rocks din sila. So, anong pagkakaparehas ng asteroid at ng meteoroid? There are both rocks. But asteroid follows an orbit while meteoroids do not follow an orbit. They do not remain in a certain region. Alright? Meteoroids. Let's proceed. Anong nakikita nyo sa picture na yan? Nakakita na ba kayo ng mga ganito? Anong tawag?
Yes.
Anong tawag natin sa mga ganun? Have you ever just
Meteor shower.
Alright, meteor shower. Tama.
Meteor
Tama.
shower.
Because your meteoroids are actually related to your meteor. Alright? Tapos there is a certain time of a month of the year wherein ang daming mga meteor shower na nangyayari. Alright? What month would that be? Later on, na pag-usapan natin. But if we have the chance to just look at the sky at night, no? Try nyong i-timing yan where there is no moon. Dapat hindi bilog yung buwan. Dapat walang buwan na nakikita. Because of the too much brightness of the moon, no, whenever it's full, malakas masyado yung ilaw niya na natatabunan yung ilaw ni stars. So whenever, no, there was this one time that we went for a Milky Way shot before there in Santo Tomas, no? Dapat timing talaga na walang moon para mag-shine bright si stars. So at the same time, mas makikita nyo si meteor shower. However, let's get to differentiate the different terms. So you have your meteor shower, tama yung sinabi. Alright, so Ito, this is a picture of us trying to differentiate, no? We have your asteroid, alam nyo na yon, alam nyo na yung comet, but at some point, meron tayong mga other terms, no, that we will be encountering. We have your meteor. This is supposed to be a meteorite, merong E dito. And you have your meteoroid. Just forget about fireball first. Meron tayong meteor, meteorite, and meteoroid. Paano ba sila magkakaiba? Alright? So, ganito. When you talk about your meteoroids, no? Meteoroids, ito yung mga rocks or boulders na nasa outer space pa. Alright? Nasa outer space pa. But at some point, no, merong mga meteoroids na pumapasok na sa atmosphere ng Earth, specifically in the mesosphere. Pag nakapasok na sila sa atmosphere, tawag natin sa kanila meteors. However, usually, ang nangyayari dyan, nakakita na ba kayo ng landing ng isang spacecraft from the outer space tapos nagland sa Earth? Have you seen movies like those?
Yes, sir.
Alright? Do you see that during their landing, whenever they pass by the atmosphere, di ba parang nasusunog yung aircraft, yung spacecraft nila before they get to land on the ocean? Can you see that one? Or have you seen that one in movies?
Yes, sir.
Alright, di ba parang nasusunog sila and they actually look like a comet or a meteor? That's the reason why whenever meteoroids are able to pass through the atmosphere, ang nangyayari sa kanila, nasusunog sila. And at some point, they look like a comet or natawag natin yung meteor shower. Pag marami silang lumulusot dyan sa atmosphere ng Earth, tawag natin dyan meteor shower. But then again, the point is that pag nakapasok sila sa atmosphere ng Earth, yung meteoroid na yan, na dating nasa outer space, na pumasok sa atmosphere, ang tawag natin dyan, meteors. Dahil sa sobrang init na pumapasok sila dyan, that they even burst into flames, they are supposed to disintegrate. Dapat, no, yung mga bato na yan, na parang nag-aapoy na pumasok doon sa atmosphere ni Earth, no, usually they melt down, and at some point, they fall parang dust galing sa sky. But some other meteors that pass through the atmosphere, no, are really very big, that minsan nakakaland sila sa ground ng Earth. Pag yung meteors na yan or meteoroids na yan successfully landed on Earth, yung bato na yan, ang tawag natin dyan, meteorite. Right? So I hope that you get to know the differentiations or get to know the differences of these terms, no? Meteoroid pag nasa outer space. Pag nakapasok sa atmosphere, tawag natin yan meteor. Pag nakaland siya sa ground, ang tawag natin dyan meteorite. Right? I hope that you get to know the differences of these different names. Right? Do not interchange them because they are not interchangeable. Questions? Questions? Anybody?
None, sir.
Alright, let's proceed. So, ito yung sinasabi ko. No? Meteoroid, when they are still found in the outer space, whenever they go inside the atmosphere of the Earth, we call them your meteor. And lastly, if they get to successfully land on the ground of the Earth, we call that one your meteorite. Alright, let's get to proceed. Fun fact. Ano bang fun fact natin dito? Let's go back to Comet. Still remember Comet? Anybody? You still remember Comet?
Yes, sir.
Alright. Si Comet kasi, di ba nakikita natin na meron siyang tail. We have your dust tail and even your ion tail there. At some point, whenever Comet passes by, meron siyang mga nalalaglag dyan na mga ice or mga rocks or boulders dyan whenever it passes by to the Earth. Yung mga nalalaglag dyan na mga rocks and even ice, whenever a comet passes, they are considered to be meteoroids. Yan yung sabi ng mga scientists. Yung mga nalalaglag sa buntot ni comet, no, they form as yung mga meteoroids. That's the reason why whenever a comet passes by, more or less, merong mangyayaring meteor shower. Because yung nilalaglag ng tail ni comet are becoming now what you call your meteoroids. Now, those meteoroids, because of the pull of the gravity of the Earth, no, pumapasok sila sa atmosphere ni Earth, nagiging meteors sila. And since marami sila, they form now what you call your meteor showers. That's the reason why you get to see them na maraming mga streak of lights during the night, no? Those are examples of your meteor shower. So, si meteor pala nanggaling sa buntot ni comet. Alright? So, it says here, science believe that the meteor shower happen when a comet passes by and leave their icy fragments and even rock fragments that coming out from their tail. Alright? So, ganun pala yung nangyayari. Si mga meteor pala, meteoroids, yan na yan, nangyayari yung meteor shower pag merong dumadaan na comet. Then again, no, minsan lang dumadaan si comet. Halley passes by 75 years. Hale-Bopp passes by maybe not yet in the next 2,500 years. Alright? So, ito yung nangyayari sa kanila. So, nagkabaliktad yung paglagay ko ng activity dito. Alright. Ano pa? Alright. Your meteor shower, no? Ito yung nangyari if you get to see, can you see now the picture of a meteor shower? Here?
Yes, sir.
This is a photo of the meteor shower, of Leonid meteor shower, which happened 2020. Last year lang ito. If you'd like to be able to watch, no, or maybe witness a meteor shower, usually meteor showers, si Perseid at si Leonid ang usually ang mga common na known popular meteor showers. They usually exist around the month of August and even around the month of November. So by those months, no, just get to look at the sky during the night. And minsan nakakakita kayo ng mga meteor shower. Alright? So August and November, be mindful of those months. Usually maraming meteor shower nangyayari dyan. Alright? Let's get to proceed. No, ito. Pag nakakita kayo ng shooting star or falling star na sinasabi, ano ito? Comet, meteoroid, or asteroid? Anybody?
Comet?
Comet? Any other answers
Meteoroid.
before? Meteoroid? Asteroid? Ano kaya? Nakakita na ba kayo ng shooting star?
Yes, sir.
Alright. In our own terms, niya titawag tayo dito eh. Anong tawag natin sa shooting star or falling star na ito? Sa Tagalog or sa Filipino, ano tawag natin dito? Starts with letter B. Sabi nila, dito daw nanggaling si Kokey. Meron tayong Tagalog term. We call that one your, ano kaya?
Bulalakaw.
Alright, very good. I hear that voice, no? Very, very, very silent voice there. Ang tawag natin dyan, bulalakaw. Alright, or your falling star and your shooting star. Now, just get to be, no? Kasi, different cultures have different understanding of this falling star. Some others would consider this one as parang swerte, while others consider this one as parang nakakatakot. No? Because some others would believe that the falling star daw or itong shooting star na ito, but whenever they pass by, do you wish when you ever get to see them? Sabi nila, mag-wish ka daw pag dumaan yung shooting star or yung falling star. Have you ever tried that one? Or have you ever heard of that story before?
Yes, sir.
Alright.
Yes, sir.
Mag-wish ka daw. Kasi pag nakakita ka ng dumaan na falling or shooting star, mag-wish ka, then your wish will come true. But some other cultures, like the mga Muslim cultures, no, they consider this something as hindi siya swerte. Because they believe that ito daw yung mga angels na galing sa heaven na nilaglag sa hell, no? Ito yung tinatawag nila mga fallen angels daw na nilaglag ng Diyos galing sa heaven and nilaglag niya sa hell. So these are considered as mga fallen angels daw. So Satan is actually a fallen angel, no? Biblically speaking. So yung other cultures will have a different definition of how we see things, no? So shooting star, falling star. But the correct answer would be this is actually a meteoroid or a meteor, to be exact, no? Ang shooting star. So hindi siya comet, hindi siya asteroid, this is a meteor. Alright? So meteor po ang falling star. So next time that you get to encounter with friends looking at the sky at night, and you can ask a trivia about it if it's a comet, a meteoroid, or meteor, or an asteroid. So this is actually a meteor. Alright? Questions? Questions?
None, sir.
Alright, so tapos na tayo. And congratulations once again for completing the second quarter. Tapos na tayo sa second quarter. And we'll be proceeding now by next week on your third quarter. Chemistry na po tayo. Which is, I think, medyo iniisip ko kung paano ko ituturo yun kasi medyo mahirap. I hope that you get to have a part of your learning module, the periodic tables with you. Do you have it ba? Meron ba sa learning pack nyo yung periodic table?
Yes, sir.
Alright, because we're going to know more about how to use that periodic table. Because it's really very important when you get to know how to use that one and magagamit nyo yun sa college. Alright? So, congratulations once again for being able to finish and survive until the second quarter. But before we're going to end, let me just give you the reminders of what you're going to pass for the second quarter. Ito po yung ipapass natin. You have your activity 7, yung crossword sa earthquake. You have your Philippine area of responsibility and typhoon track for your typhoon. And performance task po dito, which is you're going to make an infographic. So, sample po na infographic ang nandito sa photo nito. Alright, so, before anything else, before I get to end, I'd like to thank you for participating once again for this one. But before that one, I'd like to ask, kung how are you coping up with everything? Kumusta? Is science trying to give you a hard time? I think hindi naman hindi naman masyadong mahirap, I believe. Can I hear honest opinions about it? Hello?
Not naman, sir.
Alright, kaya lang naman 'di ba? Kasi even in your lesson 9, wala akong activity nilagay. Right. There's nothing for you to answer or whatever that is. Pero we'll be having your quiz by Thursday. So again, we'll be sending the link to you sa group chat na lang for you to be able to answer that long quiz, which includes now your topics from your earthquake to typhoon and to this minor members of the solar system. Would that be okay? Okay lang ba? Alright, for us to be able to conclude your second quarter. Would that be okay? Yes? Yes? No? No? Hello?
Maybe, sir.
Maybe. Kumusta ba yung quiz nyo? Mahirap ba? Mahirap ba yung ginawa kong quiz last time? I'd like to know feedbacks about it. Mahirap ba?
Sir, may questions na mahirap.
Alright. Ganito kasi yung ginawa ko. Yung ginawa kong quiz sa first quarter were most of them are examples. For example, naglagay ako ng example, isang tao naglalakad. Anong mga forces meron dyan or anong laws of motion ang related to dyan? Yun yung gusto ko malaman nyo. Because the more examples that you get to know about the lesson, it's better for you to relate that one in your real life situation. Pag sinabi ko lang, ano yung pangalan ng first law of motion? Very easy. So, expect that in your next quiz, example din yung gagawin ko. No? So, kasi yung example kasi is more on the application na. So, mas makaka-relate kayo kasi sa isang bagay pag yung bagay na yan ay nangyayari sa buhay nyo. Yan naman yung habol ko actually para sa inyo. Kasi, what's the point of actually teaching you this stuff if you're not going to relate this one in your real life situation? That's the reason why I'm giving you more and more examples of what is happening of the lesson. What is really happening with my experience, maybe in your experience also at the same time. That's the reason why my quizzes are related to more examples about the lesson. So, tingnan nyo, ano bang pwede natin maging example sa typhoon? Siyempre, naka-experience na kayo ng typhoon. So, pag nang ganito yung nangyari, anong gagawin? Pag nakakita kayo ng ganito, anong gagawin? Saan kayo pwedeng makaalam ng news about typhoons, about earthquakes, those different stuff? It's more or less mga examples na yung quizzes ko. Would that be okay? Would you agree with my style of the quiz that I'm giving you? Examples po kasi yung binibigay ko.
Yes, sir.
Alright? Kasi mas ma-relate nyo to sa totoong buhay nyo. So, I'll be scheduling that one on Thursday. However, for the others na hindi pa nag-quiz, please take the quiz. I'm still opening that one. But then again, for those who took the quiz on that day specifically, don't worry kasi may timestamp yun. Alam ko kung kailan nyo kinuha yung quizzes. I'll give you extra points for that one. Alright? Then again, ako yung teacher na hindi po kuripot sa grado. If you deserve to pass, then I give extra. No? If you work more about it, I give extra. Hindi po ako kuripot. Alright? Right? If there are no questions, then I think it's already 11:10. I'm overtime by
Sir,
10 minutes.
question.
Yes, sige. Sige.
Last, sir.
Sige. Yes.
Sir, bakit yung yung question kung sino yung scientist, tas sinagot ko naman, sir,
Mm.
Sir Isaac Newton, pero wrong.
Ay, sorry. Ganito. I'm supposed to makikita ko naman yung answer that I can still I can still review. Lumabas doon sa score mo which is wrong, but supposedly kasi ang nilagay kong tamang answer doon was supposed to be only Isaac Newton, because the sir is just parang mister na tinawag mo doon sa tao, ma'am or ganun. So the full name would be Isaac Newton. So tinanggal ko yung sir. But if you included Sir Isaac Newton there, I can still review your quiz, and I can consider that one as correct answer. So don't worry about it. Thank you very much for clarifying that one to me. Any other questions?
Thank you, sir.
All right. Any other questions? All right. So silence means yes. I think everybody is now ready to have their brunch maybe, and I think this is enough for the day. Let's call it a day. So thank you once again for joining this activity, and I hope that next time I get to hear voices of males, because may naririnig akong boses ng lalaki, ang hina, pero at least no, may naririnig ako. Pero yung dominant na nagsasalita, babae. So boys, no, when I was still in high school, tinataas namin yung bandila ng mga lalaki na yung lalaki yung mga magagaling sa science and even math. So, yun. So, just encouraging you. Participation more, kasi I know that some of you, para mas mahigana kayong umukon, just get to participate more. I'm open to you speaking anytime, shooting your questions anytime whenever I discuss. So thank you very much once again for joining this activity. We're only 16 from the 30 plus and the start. We're only 16 this time, so thank you once again for being with me, patient with me this time. So without further much ado, salamat ng marami, and see you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Bye,
sir.
sir.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, sir.